As always, I'm Matt. He's Brett, and this week we're going over our how we did last week in our picks. Brett was able to best me at as I predicted 10-6. I believe Brett went 11-5.
Is correct.
Uh, but yeah. So I guess any big takeaways you got from week 3 in the NFL?
Well, let's just start with a Thursday game. Tampa Bay, did they just quit, right? Like,
They were unprepared for the juggernaut that is Matty Ice, Brett. I keep saying it. I keep saying it. The guy is awesome, and you just refuse to believe me when I say this.
what did he do the week before?
He was on the road. He's like Drew Brees. He struggles on the road. It happens.
If you say so. But, I mean, I don't know, man. That Tampa team, at least they got that pick six for their defense, because for some reason I got that scrub team as my defense in fantasy. They're getting dropped this week. But they haven't done anything, right? Like,
They apparently have a lot more holes than I guess just a coaching change will solve. I really thought they'd be a lot better. They're awful.
now Josh McCown got hurt, right? So is it Glennon's turn again? Like, did we
Yep.
actually get to stick with the guy that we drafted and should have stuck with this whole year, in my opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if how badly McCown's banged up. I don't think it really matters at this point. They happen to play the Steelers this next week, who thoroughly beat the Carolina Panthers. So I don't know. It's an interesting league, but yeah, Tampa Bay, they got a lot of issues to fix, and probably part of it's Tampa Bay is really bad, and Atlanta is a much better team. I don't know if they're as good as that score indicated, but Atlanta is proving themselves to be a much better team than they were at least last year.
Very true. Let's see, any other games that were of interest? Hey, look, the Giants, they got a win.
I didn't make that prediction. I honestly just decided that the Giants had to win at some point, so they did get the win against the Texans. I believe it was at home too. I think.
Yes.
Pretty sure. I takeaway. I thought once again. I thought Kirk Cousins played really well actually. I know he threw a pick near the end of the game. Him and the tight end were on the same page, but I was impressed. Kirk Cousins, by the way, he threw a deep ball to Deshaun Jackson. I don't remember Kirk Cousins having that good of arm strength at Michigan State, but it looks like he has much better arm strength now. Like, he could be the real deal, I think. And the Eagles just keep on winning.
I was gonna say, while we're on that note of Kirk Cousins, was it Pro Football Focus tweeted out that him and RG3 had the exact same player grade, I guess, through this season, like when they had comparable snap counts. So, I mean, I guess that kind of, if you know, look at those numbers and how they grade, that kind of gives a little bit of credence to the debate of who to start, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's obviously, can perform just as well as RG3 when it comes, especially in that offense. It seems. I don't know. I've liked what I've seen out of Kirk Cousins. He's definitely not, I think, the sole reason to why they might be losing a ball game. But the Eagles, they look really good just because they keep winning. I mean, I guess if you can just outscore everyone you play, which is the ultimate point of football, who cares how bad your defense is, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they still like, if they want to win in the playoffs, that defense is going to have to, I think, step up, and they're going to have to start better overall too. No, this week I don't know. I didn't see how the scoring, went, whether they started fast or started slower. They were just consistent throughout the game, but yeah, it looks like the first quarter was kind of slow, and then actually the second and fourth quarters are where they were best. But, I mean, I don't know. LaShawn McCoy hasn't really done a whole lot in the rushing game to this point so far. Like, I feel like they're relying a lot kind of on the passing game, and I mean, it's working so far, but you kind of wish that the running game would be able to carry that team a little bit too when they need it.
Yeah. Did you hear about Nick Foles getting cheap shotted?
I didn't.
Really? Yeah. He threw. I think it was an interception, and the play was pretty much over, and the lineman just teed off on him, and it ended up starting a giant brawl.
Yeah, you're right. I did see that. I lied. Yeah, that was totally unnecessary. We'll just say that for sure. The guy was basically on his way down, the guy that intercepted the ball. The play was like half a second from being over, and you could see the lineman just eye up Foles and just.
Oh yeah.
He just took a shot.
The guy's not getting fined though, I guess. It was ruled. Troy Vincent ruled it illegal hit.
That's because Troy, probably being a defensive player, kind of was like, yeah, that's fine. We never get to do that. Or, well, yeah, he'd like that, especially on a quarterback, even though that's supposed to be not his job supposed to be protecting, the quarterback. But on the quarterback pick, I mean, you become a defender at that point.
It's true. So, let's see what else was. I watched the entire Packer game. Really disappointed with my Packers right now. So, offense has really struggled with the Packers. So, I'm sure for people that are fantasy owners that were banking on Aaron Rodgers having a breakout or a really good season and Eddie Lacy having a really good season, probably pretty disappointed so far, at least especially with Lacy, because Lacy just has not been doing well at all.
Now, have there been any running lanes for him? I mean, because I know last year our offensive line was one of the better running ones. Is he just not hitting the lane as well? Or
He's not hitting the hole. Like, there are definitely plays where they show the replay, and I'm just not sure how he didn't see, like, he should probably cut it between the tackle and guard, and instead he tries to bounce it outside again, and there's just nowhere to go outside. And I specifically remember one on 3rd and short. He tried to bounce it outside. If he just would have hit the hole, there's no way he's not getting the first. Like, he would have definitely got the first. So, I mean, it's frustrating, and I'm sure he's frustrated, but a little hope to the people that watch this that are Packer fans. Aaron Rodgers says relax. So, gonna just relax, taking it easy with worrying about my Packers, and Aaron Rodgers says relax, so I'm gonna relax at least one more week.
You think any chance that he becomes T. Rich 2.0?
Yeah, actually, people were discussing about that. Just because he had, like, Trent Richardson, really good rookie season, and then struggled this far. Like, hey, Lacy, really good rookie season, struggling.
I mean, to be fair, at least it's only 3 games into the season instead of like 2 years after his rookie year.
Right.
He still has time, but yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be a T. Rich though. The issue with T. Rich when he got traded to Fido, when he got traded to the Colts, was that he apparently didn't know the playbook, so he's super indecisive and everything. And based on what you're telling me now with Lacy, is he's just also a little indecisive and hitting the wrong holes. And for a guy that started most of the games last year that he played in and everything, you'd kind of hope he had that playbook down. And would know where he's supposed to go.
It's true. Let's see, other games. Well, obviously Seattle-Denver, rematch from the Super Bowl. Watched the whole thing. I guess I picked Denver, but I was really, really hoping to see the Broncos kind of beat the Seahawks in Seattle. They ended up Seattle got off to, I think it was a 17-3 lead, and then they only were able to kick a field goal the rest of the game until overtime. The Denver defense, all those people that they signed, yeah, they're paying off right now for sure because their defense is much better. Russell Wilson made some uncharacteristic mistakes. He threw a pick. He did his little thing where he likes to run around and ended up. Yeah, there was a play that was really impressive where Russell was rolling out and Von Miller was chasing him down, and the tight end pushed Von Miller to the ground. So Bob Miller stumbles to the ground, able to get back up and still put pressure on Wilson to throw the ball away before he wanted to deliver it down the field. Just the Denver defense is a lot better. The Seattle defense. I thought they played really good.
To the final half of the fourth quarter.
Final half. Emmanuel Sanders is so underrated. He's really good, man. I don't know how he manages to get open, but he really does. He's really good. Really interesting in watching, especially I'm sure you watch more than I did, but really interesting to see how every little thing in the 49ers game last week against the Bears was called for like illegal contact on the field. The Seahawks freaking mug people. Like they get away with that all the time. Like at least at home anyways. There were several times like Emmanuel Sanders is getting up like really like he was holding me. It is just definitely very interesting to see how different games get called. Overall though, it was a good game. Seattle they drove down the field and ended up, punching in for a touchdown, and that was it. So Russell Wilson remains 7-0 against what do we want to call them? The Big Four.
The Fab Four now. It's got to be a 5. So yeah, we'll call them Big Four. Question though, okay, because after the game, you said Seattle drove down the field, scored a touchdown. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. Was it a Peyton Manning loss that changed the overtime rules, or like was the catalyst for overtime rules?
Could have been.
Right, like a team a couple years ago just went down and kicked the field goal and won, and Peyton didn't even get a shot, and people were like, well, I'd love to see Peyton get a chance. So they changed the rule to allow for this, and now after this I saw a bunch of people saying, well, I still wish Peyton would have had a chance. How many
I do wish I would have gotten a chance to see if Peyton would have been able to do anything. I'll be the first to admit. I'm not saying that there needs to be a rule change. I'm just saying, like, it would have been nice to see if Peyton could have done something. But it's the way it is, so.
I just thought that was, like, an interesting... It happened to him, and every time it happens, to Peyton at least, everyone wants to make sure that he gets a chance to try it again, and I don't feel like other quarterbacks get that same sort of, like, public response when they lose in overtime without getting the ball.
There's only a couple of quarterbacks that would get that kind of response. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady.
Might be right. I know we talked about these guys off camera, and while I'm looking at the schedule from last week, the Ravens-Browns game, I mean, those Browns have been in every game they've played in. They lost, I think it was a field goal to Pittsburgh and a field goal to the Ravens, and then they beat
the Saints.
Which was also a close game. They appear to be better than I think what most of us figured they would be at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I thought the Browns. I can't even lie to you. I thought Brian Hoyer was not going to be as good as he is. He is much better than I thought.
Wait, what?
Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. He's not going to be in Cleveland next year, so this isn't even a discussion we need to have. He's auditioning for other jobs right now. That's what he's doing. Because Cleveland sold their future to Johnny Football. Right? They're not going to pay Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer is making himself money. That's what he's doing.
Where would he... I'm trying to think of teams that are super quarterback needy that don't at least have a guy of the future.
The Rams. Tampa.
Tampa, I think they should have just stuck with Glennon. So we'll see. Or maybe it'll depend on how he plays this season with McCown out. But do you disagree with them?
They're going to take Mariota.
Well, that's true, too. Yeah, if they got the number 1 or top 5 pick.
Probably not going to take Famous Jameis because Famous Jameis can't keep himself out of trouble.
Because he's an idiot, Matthew.
He's a good quarterback. He's just not very smart when it comes to certain things.
He probably scores lower on the Wonderlic than Vince Young did.
Oh, my goodness.
See, other interesting game. I guess that 49ers-Cardinals game, right?
Yeah, 49ers struggling again. They lost to a backup quarterback for crying out loud.
Hey, that backup quarterback's beaten 2 teams.
He has. Did you watch any of the highlights or anything?
I was unable.
Stanton was just throwing the passes up to people, hoping they come down with it.
Well, they did, right?
They did, yeah. Michael Floyd made plays. Fitzgerald.
Brown or whatever his name is.
Unknown receiver named Brown. The 49ers got penalized a lot. Anquan Bolden decided he wanted to start crying about the referees, that they're costing them games. Well, what Anquan Bolden doesn't understand is apparently if you headbutt another player and you get caught doing it, it's a personal foul. Like, you control that. Like, don't do it. It's pretty simple.
Well, yeah, that seems fairly obvious.
What did he think was going to happen?
I don't know, man.
But anyways, so the 49ers, they've been their defense is not what it was. They can't generate pressure on the quarterback, and they also, I think I read, they didn't give Gore the ball very much last game. They really decided to pass it a lot. To be fair to Colin Kaepernick, he actually played pretty solid. I don't remember him turning the ball over or anything, but they just gotta get back to being what they are, and that's a power football team.
Definitely. But against a team like, the Cardinals, whose defense is also the strength, like that, those 3 defenses, actually all 4 defenses in the West, are very good. And if you're, unable to generate some sort of offense, like you're not gonna have much of a chance.
I'll say this too: underrated coach Bruce Arians, definitely. Like, really, like the team just is winning with backup quarterbacks. Like, they obviously have a lot of talent around them. All the players buy into his system, and good for the Cards. Good for the Cards. They're actually leading that division.
Yeah, 3-0, right?
Yep.
Well, let's see. We could see. Okay, let's play a little game quick first before we get into making our picks for next.
All right, we'll play the game. All right, we'll play our game right now. Yeah.
Play a little game. Right, we're gonna go with it's gonna be a panic meter game.
Okay.
Teams that are underperforming, and we'll say whether they should be panicking or not panicking. And
Scale 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 here.
Let's go 1 to 10.
1 to 10. All right.
1 to 10.
10 being alarmed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll just talk about the team, or go with the team we just were discussing. San Francisco 49ers. They're 1-2. What's your panic meter?
4. I'm not super alarmed yet. I feel like it might have been last year they started out this exact same way. They started off a little slow. I think they'll get things turned around. They got too much. Like you even said, they're the most talented roster probably in football. They got a lot of talent. They'll figure it out.
But between, Navarro Bowman being out, Naldon Smith, I think, how long is he suspended? Like 8 games or something?
9.
That secondary hasn't been great. It wasn't, at least based on score, it probably wasn't terrible against Arizona. But are they able to get that defense turned around before it's too late? With, how long Bowman and Aldon Smith are going to be out?
It's a tough, man. That's a good question. I want to say they will, but I'm at a 4 right now. What are you at?
I want to be low at 4 like you, but just for whatever reason, and it's 3 games, and they haven't played great in any of those 3, and
Tony Romo isn't throwing the ball to them so much.
Yeah, they might even lose to that. Like, they could very well be, 0-3. Though, to be fair, their combined losses have been by a total of 6 points. Right?
Their offense, though, hasn't put up points very well at all in the second half. In fact, what did I read? They've been outscored
like 3 points in the second half or something.
They've been outscored a ton in the second half.
Yeah. And that obviously needs to change, and part of that might be, hey, if we got a lead, let's, try to milk the clock sort of deal, and if they're not running it, or if Cap, just isn't, completing the passes that he needs to for first downs, they're going to struggle, and it's going to put some more pressure on a defense that does have some guys missing right now. Cap's got his money. Well, I guess he doesn't. That contract is all like incentive based. He needs to start performing better if he wants to get paid. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say. I guess I'll just stay middle of the road. I'll go like a 5. They're a little bit more panicked than you are, but it's not to the point where they got to start making huge changes or anything or start freaking out.
Okay.
Let's see who else is 1 and 2. Well, I would say Kansas City, but I'm not sure we had high expectations for that team.
We didn't.
Though, I mean, based on where they're from last year, how they played, to getting Alex Smith a big deal. I mean, if you're paying your quarterback that kind of money, could be better than 1 and 2 right now.
It's true.
Let's see. We'll go. I think obviously a pretty obvious one for us: Green Bay Packers.
For this week, I'm gonna keep the panic meter at a 3. Aaron Rodgers says to relax, so I'm gonna relax. There's my dog. What about you?
For Green Bay, we mentioned it. Eddie's not playing that well. Aaron Rodgers probably running for his life on occasion, and we don't have a threat in the middle of the field really because we can't use our tight ends to go up for passes. And outside of Jordy and Randall Cobb, our receiving options haven't been what they used to. Who was it? Jason Wilde retweeted somebody yesterday I think it was, and it was a picture of our old receiving.
I know, right? It was all the old receivers.
There's Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, James Jones, and Jermichael Finley in addition to Jordy and Randall. And 4 of those 6 are now gone just 2 or 3 years later. And I think that's starting to take its toll. We haven't really had anyone come in and step up. He said maybe Devontae can do that, but he's not right now. I think honestly our offense, despite having Aaron Rodgers, who I think is obviously one of the better ones, top 3 quarterbacks in the league, probably still going to struggle. Thankfully, we don't have any super mobile quarterbacks in division because, as you pointed out, it seems that Dom Capers just doesn't know how to slow down a mobile guy. But in pocket kind of guys, we can get some quality pressure, and maybe keep the defense or the game close based on defense. But I'm gonna be more worried about. Maybe it's because they're our team. I'm gonna be a little more panicked, and I'm gonna go with like a 6. I don't want to get too freaked out and go 7 or 8 or anything and start like pulling my hair out. But just the way they played, and I mean, with that offense only scoring 7 points, it just doesn't seem right, even against Detroit.
Right.
Okay. But let's see. Other teams. I mean, Washington and the Giants are each 1 and 2. Not really sure. I mean, the Giants I don't think we expected a whole lot from, and neither probably from Washington. But the other 1 and 2 team that we could talk about would be the New Orleans Saints.
Saints, yeah. Once again, my panic meter is going to be low on the Saints. Probably going to be another 3 for me. They'll get it turned around.
Right. Their 2 losses were road losses, right?
Yep, at Atlanta and at the Browns.
And they've lost 2 games by a total of 6 points. I mean, they've been competitive on the road. And obviously Atlanta at home is different than Atlanta on the road, as we talked about. Cleveland's actually been much better than we expected. Yeah, I'm going to go pretty low. I'm not really panicked about them either. I don't think that division's got some good teams, but I don't think there are a bunch of great teams there. And I think the Saints can turn it around and probably still win that division. So I'm going to go with like a 2. Maybe I'm just not really too worried about the Saints right now. Yeah. Though that defense, I guess, overall should probably hope to play a little better at times, especially with all the money they sank into certain players on that side.
It's true.
But yeah, other than that, I lied. We got one other 1 and 2 team that we could probably talk about. Indianapolis Colts.
Not worried.
It's pretty simple. Not worried. I mean, especially, is it because that division, right?
Yeah.
And we all saw, Houston started 2-0 last year, and then they went down the toilet and 2-0 this year, and then they just lost to a Giants team that had been largely unimpressive in their first 2 games. Albeit on the road. I mean, sometimes that happens, and you can't win them all, even against teams that you might be better than. But yeah, they gave up like 150 yards to Rashad Jennings.
Yeah.
They did just sign Ryan Pickett, I think, though.
They did, yep, because Lewis Nix III is on IR.
He's on IR? What'd he do?
I don't know. I just saw that they placed him on IR.
Oh, man. But, yeah. Colts, yeah, so if it was on a 1 to 10, we're probably both at like a 0. We're probably just not even ranking that one.
No.
All right, cool. Well, I guess then we can move on to our picks for this week.
Yes.
We'll start with Thursday's game, Giants at Redskins.
Taking the Skins, baby. Taking the Skins.
All right, we got to write these down. I'm going to go with the Skins as well. Like I said last week, I think I said the Giants have to show me something. Well, I guess they showed me a little, but I guess it's not enough yet for me to start trusting in them fully.
Right.
It's probably going to be, it should be if, the Giants defense doesn't turn it around. There'll probably be another high-scoring game, though. I think that should be at least a fun one to watch. A little more competitive than last Thursday's game.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to go with the Skins as well.
Nice.
All right, let's see. Then we'll go Packers at Bears.
Aaron Rodgers says not to worry. I'm not worried. I'm staying relaxed. I'm taking Green Bay.
You don't look too confident, man. You don't look like you want to pick Green Bay.
I don't want to pick Green Bay. The only reason I'm taking them is because I have faith in my quarterback. That's it.
I'm going to go...
Otherwise, I'd pick the Bears. I'm not going to lie. Up until Aaron Rodgers said this, I had my pick down as the Bears. But because he said this, I'm gonna buy it one more week. If we lose, I'm probably gonna take the Vikings next week.
With Teddy Bridgewater. I am gonna go with the Bears. That kills me, man. Gotta go Bears. I gotta get some points from in this.
Fan over an Aaron Rodgers, man. I thought you liked Aaron Rodgers.
I do like Aaron Rodgers, but I like the Bears team right now a little bit better than Green Bay's playing. Go Bills at Texans.
Bills at the Texans. I'm taking Buffalo. Taking Buffalo for anyone that didn't hear that. I just think, EJ Manuel's going to get it done. He failed me last week when I picked him, so he better not fail me this week.
In Houston,
there's some tough picks this week.
I'm gonna stick with I'm just gonna go home team. I think all the way down the list here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texans. But the next game then would be the Titans at the Colts. Well, okay, I think we both agree on this one.
Colts.
Yeah,
and this one might be interesting, though. The Ravens and the Panthers.
Ravens and Panthers. Panthers at Baltimore. Man, that should be a good one. I'm gonna go Ravens.
Gosh, Brett. Gosh, yep, I'm picking the Ravens. For a simple reason.
What's that?
Steve Smith. You're gonna find out week 4. Brett.
It's what he said into the camera, so.
It seems to be the trending thing that you play your old team, you kick the crap out of them, or at least you play really well.
Yeah, it's I honestly even forgot, and he's actually been balling pretty good this year. For a guy to let go, I think he's got over 100 yards. I think in like every game, or pretty close to it.
He's been playing well.
All right, the next game then is going to be the Detroit Lions at the New York Jets.
Picking the Jets in this one. Don't ask me why. I'm picking the Jets.
the Jets defensively, if they can do a little bit of what Green Bay did against Detroit, because Detroit only scored 9 points or whatever on offense. Against Green Bay, I mean, they didn't do great, but they still got Reggie Bush and Calvin Johnson. They still got a lot of weapons, so you never know when they're going to go off.
Right.
I'm just going to stick with this theme, man. I might literally just pick every home team. So I'm going to go with the Jets as well.
Okay.
It just feels good. Let's see. The next game is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Steelers.
Steelers.
Yeah. As we just said, this Tampa team is really, really not good. I was reading, looked at one thing, and it's like a full census and with a bunch of information on different teams or the entire NFL. And Tampa Bay has the shortest team in football. Not that that really means anything, but they got the shortest team
So that's why they're losing.
in the league. Hey, short guys can be good players too, man.
It's interesting because they have two really big wide receivers.
It's true. And the tight end, right?
Yeah. Nope.
And then the last 1 o'clock game is the Miami Dolphins at the Oakland Raiders.
Taking the Raiders, baby. Just win, baby. Just win.
Just win. It's interesting because there's talk that Ryan Tannehill might be benched. I don't know if they've come out and made.
Phil's trying to get himself fired. That's what he's trying to do.
It wouldn't make sense to me if they bench. I don't even know who their backup quarterback is, but do you know who it is?
Brock Jensen. Actually, I don't know if he's on the roster anymore. He was on their team though. Kid from North Dakota State, and think he's from Wapaka, Wisconsin.
Oh, well, that's cool. Still don't think they're going with them, and I don't know. I'm okay. This might be the one game where I go against the home team, just because I feel like the Dolphins are going to have to turn it around, and Ryan Tannehill's going to respond. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Okay, there you go.
I know we start our 4 o'clock group, and we're short on games this week, I think, because there's a lot of buys. But let's see, the 4 o'clock games. Let's see, Jacksonville at San Diego.
Sorry, Blake Bortles. I know you're getting the starting call, but I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah, Blake Bortles getting called up to the starting roster or lineup, huh? And I think he's actually going to do really well in his career here, at least based on what we saw in the preseason. Yeah, but this Chargers team overall is just much better than Jacksonville. With Bortles or without Bortles. Doesn't really make a difference. Okay, this could be a good one. Eagles at 49ers.
Taking the Eagles.
Taking the Eagles, they've been the better team, obviously, so far.
I just hesitated a little bit with this pick because the 49ers are at home.
They are at home. What was our panic leader on the 49ers?
Yours was higher than mine. I said 4, I think. I think you gave them a 5 or 6.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, I think I was one spot in front of you. This would be a game that if they were to win, that would definitely reduce that panic meter to pretty much not nothing, per se, because, I mean, with the Cardinals and Seattle, also being great teams, it looks like San Francisco still might be fighting for, at best, like a wild card spot. And even then, they'd have to beat out probably one of the teams from the South, because I don't think the East or the North are going to get 2 teams, so I think we're good enough to. I'm going to go with the 49ers. Okay. I think they can do this. And then the last afternoon game would be the Atlanta Falcons versus Minnesota Vikings.
At Minnesota, which means it's outside at TCF Bank Stadium. All signs say that I'm picking the Falcons.
Right, you just pulled the not so fast, my friend.
Yep.
And I agree. Like, I know that Atlanta is
Brett.
different, but I can't. Teddy, my boy Teddy's going to get the start, I think, right?
Yep.
and I think he'll do well in his career as well. He's a guy I liked. First start though, I don't know. I just don't see it happening even at home. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Atlanta. Just the second road team so far I think I've gone with. This one might be a third road team. Saints at Cowboys.
Picking the Saints.
What's any reasoning behind this?
Yeah, because Tony Romo is going to throw a back-breaking interception in the fourth quarter that he can't do.
You're just counting on it in the fourth quarter.
It's going to be a giant scoring fest, I think.
You know what? I'm gonna go Dallas. I can't believe I said that.
Wow.
That would be awful. The Saints can't start 1-3. Oh well, that's apparently what I'm predicting. And then the last game, the Monday night game, will be the New England Patriots at the Kansas City Chiefs.
They'll probably get this one back. I'm taking the Chiefs.
You're taking the Chiefs?
Yep. Like I said, you'll get your pick back.
Wow. Why are you picking the Chiefs?
Well, we didn't talk about teams that have struggled. I know the Patriots are 2-1. I don't think they're that good of a team. They almost lost to Oakland at home, and they probably should have if it wasn't for a holding call that brought back a McFadden touchdown. I don't know. And the Chiefs, so the Dolphins beat the Patriots pretty bad. The Chiefs kicked the crap out of the Dolphins last week. So with it being an Arrowhead, I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I might be wrong on that one, though. I wouldn't be surprised if I was wrong on that one.
You know what? You convinced me, sir. I'll pick the Chiefs as well. I'll pick the Chiefs.
How am I supposed to make up ground on you when you keep picking the teams that I picked?
Hey, there's a lot that we did different this week.
There is.
So there'll be plenty of opportunity here for you to make up ground. It's only one pick. I'm only up 11-10 right now, so which I think overall is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You said at work, do you guys do it? Is it a pick 'em with like confidence points, or you just say who picks the most right?
It's just straight up like you just pick the team. I am 27-21, I think, is what it was. I think. Does that sound? I don't know if the math sounds. I'm pretty sure that's what I was though. It was 27-21. And I think there was a bunch of us that were that.
Just not 27-11. No, 27. Yeah, you're right. 27-21. Yeah, 48. So yeah, pretty 9-7 every week.
Yeah, I guess that's what my average is now. I think I went 10-6, 8-8, and 10-6 maybe. Does that math add up right?
It does not, but that's okay.
Well, then I went 9-7 one week. I don't know what, but something like that.
But that's all right. So yeah, it looks like those are going to be our final picks. First game starts tomorrow night, CBS with those Thursday night games, which is nice because I actually get that channel instead of NFL Network.
It's true.
But yeah, I guess until next week, I hope you guys enjoy the NFL games and whatever else. Oh, quick shout out to the Indiana University football Hoosiers on that win against Missouri. That's a pretty big win. First road victory over a ranked opponent in a very long time, and I think their first victory over a ranked opponent since 2008, maybe it was 6. It's been a while. So I mean that was a big win. Defense played really well, which is something unusual to say about an Indiana team, but it was great to see. Hopefully they can bring that intensity for the rest of the year, and let's get this team to a bowl. And that's going to help, I think Kevin Wilson stick around a little bit longer, and this team's trending up. They've won more games every season he's been there, so I think this could be the year they do it. It comes down to they got to win 3 games in conference. There's Maryland and Rutgers and Purdue, so that's 3 winnable games. They might get there, and I think they will. This should be pretty fun.
Fair enough.
Yep, I guess. Other than that, do you have anything you want to close with?
Nope, I'm all set.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.